Before this new year begins, I want to ask you a question. If you don't put yourself first now, then how many years will you continue carrying everyone else's expectations while your own life waits in silence? In 2026, the greatest discipline is not what you give to the world, but what you choose to give yourself. And today, I will show you the inner path that forces life to rise to meet you. I promise you this, if you apply the wisdom I share with you today, 2026 will become the first year in your life that you stop surviving and start becoming. 1. Putting yourself first is not selfish. It is self-responsibility. There is a moment in every person's life when silence becomes heavier than sound. A moment when you realize that the weight you carry is not the weight life has given you, but the weight you have allowed. This understanding is the beginning of responsibility, and responsibility is the beginning of freedom. Putting yourself first is not an act of ego, it is an act of alignment. It means you choose to stop abandoning yourself whenever the world becomes loud. It means you choose to stop sacrificing your inner balance for the comfort of others. When you put yourself first, you reclaim the authority over your own path. For many years, people are conditioned to believe that prioritizing themselves is wrong. They are told to serve others, to care for others, to give endlessly without question. Giving is noble, yes, but giving without boundaries is self-erasure. There is no wisdom in pouring from an empty vessel. There is no honor in losing yourself to please the expectations of the world. You must understand this truth. You cannot elevate others while standing in your own shadows. You cannot guide others while ignoring the misalignment in your own steps. And you cannot love others if the connection to your own heart has grown dim. The greatest responsibility you carry in this lifetime is the responsibility to your inner world, your emotions, your choices, your energy, your state of mind. When these are neglected, everything around you becomes unstable. Relationships become fragile, work becomes stressful, life becomes chaotic. Because the foundation, your inner self, has been ignored. Putting yourself first means you return to your center. You breathe with intention. You move with awareness. You speak with clarity. You act with integrity. When you place yourself at the front of your own life, you are not saying, I am more important than others. You are saying, I must be whole before I can serve the world. And this is the highest form of responsibility. Every choice becomes an opportunity to strengthen your inner foundation. Every moment becomes a chance to choose alignment over approval. When you wake up with a mind at peace, your actions reflect peace. When you move through the day with inner clarity, your decisions carry power. When you live in consistent alignment, your presence itself becomes a form of guidance for others. People will be inspired not by what you sacrifice, but by how you rise, not by how much you give away, but by how deeply you nurture your own strength. There will be times when the world misunderstands your decision to put yourself first. Some will say you changed. Some will say you are distant. Some will say you have become selfish. But the truth is, you have simply become responsible. And those who fear your transformation are the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. They are not losing you. They are losing their control over you. That is not your burden to carry. A new chapter begins here. A path where you no longer betray your own needs. A path where you no longer silence your feelings. A path where you walk with the strength of someone who chooses themselves with intention, not with guilt. And as you begin this path, something else awakens inside you. A quiet but powerful voice that says, if I am responsible for myself, then I must also become responsible for the limits I allow. And that leads to the next awakening. Because once you put yourself first, you must face the boundaries you have never dared to set. 2. Your discipline is measured not by what you endure, but by what you refuse to tolerate any longer. There is a belief many carry that strength comes from endurance, from surviving discomfort, from tolerating disrespect, from holding the weight of situations long after they should have been released. But endurance without purpose is not strength. Endurance without boundaries is self-destruction. True discipline is not about how much you can suffer. True discipline is about how clearly you can say no, a no to chaos, a no to disrespect, a no to environments that drain your spirit, a no to patterns that keep you small. Life will always test you. It will place you in situations that challenge your patience, your values, your self-worth. But the question is never, how much can you endure? The real question is, how much unnecessary suffering are you still willing to tolerate? Because discipline is the art of removing what does not serve your highest path. It is the discipline to walk away from conversations that dim your light. The discipline to detach from relationships that take more than they give. The discipline to end habits that steal your clarity and weaken your spirit. The discipline to stop apologizing for wanting a peaceful life. You must understand, every time you tolerate something that goes against your inner truth, you weaken the connection to yourself. A silent fracture appears inside you. And this fracture grows each time you accept what you know is misaligned. People endure more than they should because they fear change. They fear being alone. They fear discomfort. But the discomfort of change is temporary. The suffering of tolerating what is wrong for you is endless. When you decide to stop tolerating what drains your life, everything begins to shift. Your energy rises. Your clarity returns. Your strength becomes undeniable. You no longer walk with hesitation, you walk with presence. There is another truth. When you stop tolerating the habits that weaken you, you redefine your entire identity. Your actions become sharper. Your routines become sacred. Your focus becomes unbreakable. You begin to demand more from yourself. Not through pressure, but through purpose. And the world starts to reflect your new standards. People treat you differently. Opportunities appear where there was once stagnation. Doors open because you finally choose the version of yourself that refuses to shrink. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is liberation. It frees you from cycles that no longer belong to your future. It frees you from attachments that slow your evolution. It frees you from the identity you have outgrown. This is why your discipline is not measured by endurance. It is measured by refusal, by the courage to let go, by the strength to choose growth over comfort, by the willingness to walk away from what is familiar but harmful. And once you master the discipline of refusal, you discover something even greater. Every no to the world becomes a yes to your inner power. And that realization leads to the next truth. Because when you stop tolerating what drains you, you must learn to protect the energy that begins to grow inside you. 3. Your energy is your greatest currency. Spend it with intention. In this life, there are many forms of currency: money, time, knowledge, skill. But the most valuable currency you possess is your energy. Everything you do, everything you create, every step you take requires energy. And once it is spent, you cannot regain it in the same form. Your energy determines the quality of your thoughts. It determines the tone of your emotions. It determines the strength of your decisions. It determines the direction of your life. Yet most people spend their energy unconsciously. They give it away to distractions, to arguments, to negativity, to environments that drain the spirit. They wake up tired not because their bodies are exhausted, but because their minds have been spending energy without awareness. You must guard your energy the way a warrior guards the gates of a sacred temple, with clarity, with firmness, with deep understanding of its value. If your energy is scattered, your life becomes scattered. If your energy is focused, your life becomes focused. Where energy flows, your path grows. Your energy is not infinite, but it is renewable when used with intention. When you direct it toward discipline, it expands. When you direct it toward alignment, it strengthens. When you direct it toward purpose, it becomes unstoppable. You must ask yourself, where does my energy go each day? Does it go to building the life I desire, or does it disappear into noise and conflict? Does it lift me, or does it drain me? Every conversation either nourishes you or depletes you. Every environment either elevates you or diminishes you. Every habit either restores your energy or steals it. Becoming conscious of these exchanges is the beginning of mastery. The most successful, disciplined, and peaceful individuals in the world have one thing in common. They spend their energy with precision. They choose their battles. They choose their environments. They choose their thoughts. They choose their direction. This is not selfishness. It is wisdom. You cannot distribute your energy widely and expect to rise. You cannot give your energy to everyone and expect to stay centered. You cannot waste your energy on what is meaningless and expect your life to have meaning. Energy is life force. Treat it as sacred. When your energy rises, your perception sharpens. When your energy rises, your courage grows. When your energy rises, your voice becomes clearer. When your energy rises, the world feels different. Not because it changed, but because you changed. The more intentional you are with your energy, the more intentional life becomes in its response to you. Your reality begins to align with your inner frequency. People sense your strength. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Life moves in harmony with your steps. Protecting your energy is not about isolation. It is about elevation. It is about rising to a level where only what aligns with your purpose can reach you. Your energy becomes a filter, a shield, a declaration of your inner standards. And once you recognize the power of your energy, a new question arises. If my energy shapes my life, then who or what should I allow into my field? A question that opens the path to the next transformation. 2026 must be the year you no longer negotiate with your limitations. There comes a moment in every journey where you must confront a truth that has lived in your shadow for years. A truth you walked around. A truth you postponed. A truth you softened with excuses. A truth you buried beneath distractions and obligations. The truth is this: your limitations are not walls, they are negotiations. And every time you negotiate with them, you give them power they never truly had. This year, 2026, must be the year where you end these negotiations. For too long, you have debated your own potential. You have hesitated in front of decisions that could transform your life. You have argued with your own inner voice, convincing yourself that you are not ready, not strong enough, not disciplined enough, not capable enough. And every time you doubted your own power, the limitation grew taller in your mind. Limitations are not built by circumstances. They are built by repetition. Repetition of fear, repetition of self-doubt, repetition of the stories you tell yourself when life becomes overwhelming. But you were not brought into this world to live underneath a ceiling of your own creation. You were made to rise, to evolve, to expand beyond the boundaries that your past shaped for you. To become someone who moves not with fear, but with clarity. 2026 must be the turning point. Not because the year is magical, not because time resets your life, but because you decide that negotiation is finished. You decide that you will no longer bargain with laziness, no longer tolerate procrastination, no longer indulge in excuses disguised as logical reasoning, no longer allow fear to enter discussions where courage should lead. Growth is not complicated, it is inconvenient. It demands effort, discomfort, consistency. Your limitations are tested every time you choose the difficult path, every time you say yes to discipline and no to comfort. This year, you must become the version of yourself that stops choosing temporary relief over permanent evolution. You must stop negotiating with the habits that keep you stagnant. Stop negotiating with the mindset that tells you to stay small. Stop negotiating with the people who tempt you back into your older patterns. Stop negotiating with the fears that whisper stories of failure every time you attempt something new. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have passed because you negotiated with your doubts? How many moments of growth did you avoid because the old version of you insisted on staying alive? How many dreams remain on the shelf because you kept lowering your standards to be comfortable? This is the year to break that cycle, not with intensity, but with certainty. When you are certain, hesitation loses its grip. When you are certain, fear becomes background noise. When you are certain, your path becomes undeniable. You are not meant to debate your potential. You are meant to embody it. When you stop negotiating with your limitations, something extraordinary happens. You create space for a new identity to emerge. An identity shaped not by fear, but by intention. Not by stagnation, but by movement. Not by doubt, but by presence. And as you rise, you begin to sense something profound. The silence beneath the noise. The guidance beneath the chaos. The wisdom that can only be heard when you stop arguing with your own path. This silence is calling you, and it leads you to the next truth. Because once you stop negotiating with your limitations, you must learn to enter the stillness where real clarity is born. 5. Silence is a training ground. Learn to listen before life forces you to. There is a realm that few dare to enter, not because it is dangerous, but because it is unfamiliar. It is the realm of silence, a space where the distractions of the world fall away, and the truth of your inner world rises to the surface. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the presence of awareness. It is where you meet yourself without disguise, where your inner conflicts become visible, where your intuition becomes audible, where your next step becomes undeniable. Most people avoid silence because it exposes everything they try to suppress. Their fears, their regrets, their unresolved emotions, their forgotten dreams. But what you avoid becomes heavier, and what you face becomes lighter. Silence is not punishment. Silence is preparation. It is the training ground where your spirit becomes sharper, where your discipline becomes deeper, where your vision becomes clearer, where your doubts lose their power. In silence, you begin to see the patterns that limit you. You begin to notice the habits that drain your energy. You begin to understand the difference between what is urgent and what is truly important. The world is noisy. It pulls your attention in 1,000 directions. Notifications, opinions, expectations, chaos. If you are not careful, you begin to live on the surface of your own life, reacting, rushing, surviving. But depth is found in stillness. Strength is found in awareness. Wisdom is found in the quiet spaces where the mind breathes again. You must learn to listen before life forces you to. Life will always send signals. Soft signals first. Whispers in the heart. Small discomforts. Intuitive nudges. If you ignore them, the signals grow louder. Stress, conflict, exhaustion, misalignment. Ignore them again, and life shifts from whisper to impact. A moment that forces you to stop. A situation that demands your attention. A wake-up call that arrives without warning. But you do not need to wait for impact. You can choose awareness before life forces transformation upon you. Silence is your opportunity to realign before the world passes. Tells you to correct your direction before the consequences arise, to strengthen your mind before challenges appear, to hear your intuition before chaos begins. In silence, you recover your power. You remember who you are without the noise. You reconnect with the version of yourself that is grounded, steady, and unshakable. The strongest individuals are not those who move the fastest. They are those who move with clarity. And clarity is born when the mind is still. Silence teaches you patience. Patience teaches you presence. Presence teaches you mastery. The more comfortable you become with silence, the more powerful your decisions become. The more intentional your actions become. the more aligned your path becomes. You begin to sense the subtle shifts in your energy. You begin to notice the difference between what nourishes you and what depletes you. You begin to see people clearly, not through emotion but through truth. Silence reveals everything. And once you train yourself to listen, you discover something deeper. You are not alone in this stillness. You are surrounded by signals, energetic, emotional, intuitive. Life speaks in whispers, and silence is the language it uses. And through this silence you hear a message rising, a reminder that will guide your next step. Your evolution depends not only on inner work, but on the environment you allow around you. And that leads you forward. Because once you learn to listen, you must learn to choose the people and spaces that elevate your journey instead of clouding it. 6. Your environment shapes your future. Choose people who elevate your standards. Every life is shaped not only by inner strength, but by outer influence. Your environment is not neutral. It is a force that molds your thoughts, your habits, your aspirations, and your identity. The people around you either sharpen your mind or dull your pot. Ensure. They either push you forward or pull you backward. They either expand your vision or shrink your belief. You become what surrounds you, not instantly, but inevitably. If you surround yourself with people who fear growth, you begin to feel growth. If you surround yourself with people who settle, you begin to settle. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you begin to see life through the lens of difficulty instead of possibility. The environment you choose is a silent architect of your future. You must choose people who elevate your standards, people whose presence awakens your discipline, people whose mindset challenges your excuses, people whose energy lifts your own, people whose actions remind you of the person you are becoming. These individuals do not soothe your limitations, they dissolve them. They do not encourage your comfort, they provoke your evolution. They do not let you hide from your potential, they illuminate it. If you want to rise, be near those who rise. If you want clarity, be near those who think deeply. If you want strength, be near those who train their mind. If you want peace, be near those who live in alignment. Your environment is either a sanctuary or a battlefield. A sanctuary nurtures growth, a battlefield drains energy. You must become intentional with the spaces you enter, the conversations you allow, the relationships you maintain. Not everyone deserves a place in your inner circle. Not everyone has earned access to your energy. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you in this next chapter. There is a difference between compassion and attachment. Compassion means you wish others well. Attachment means you let them pull you into their chaos. You cannot evolve while staying loyal to environments that keep you stagnant. There is a law of nature. Everything rises or falls based on its surroundings. A seed in the wrong soil cannot grow. A flame in the wrong wind cannot survive. A mind in the wrong environment cannot awaken. Choose your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. When your environment aligns with your standards, your life moves with coherence. Your discipline strengthens naturally. Your goals feel within reach. Your mind becomes focused. Your spirit becomes lighter. Your actions become consistent. And as you elevate your standards, something extraordinary happens. People who once resonated with your older self begin to fade away. Not because they are bad, but because you are evolving into someone who requires deeper alignment, deeper truth, deeper intention. This can feel lonely at first, but loneliness is not emptiness. Loneliness is space, and space invites the right people into your life. People who understand your growth, people who speak the language of discipline and purpose, people who walk with clarity and live with authenticity. You do not need a crowd, you need alignment, you need resonance. You need individuals who reflect the future you are stepping toward, not the past you are leaving behind. And once your environment aligns with your evolution, a new realization awakens. If the people around me shape my future, then my next step is to shape myself into the person who deserves that future. A new chapter opens, and the journey continues. 7. Every no you say is a doorway to a stronger yes to yourself. There is a power hidden in the word no, a power few ever allow themselves to embrace. No is not rejection, it is protection. No is not selfishness, it is clarity. No is not weakness, it is strength quietly declaring its presence. Every no you speak erects a boundary, a line in the sand that defines your energy, your priorities, your value. It is the first whisper of self-respect, the first statement that you are not negotiable, the first act of courage to honor yourself before pleasing others. People fear saying no because they believe it will cost them connection. They fear conflict, disapproval, judgment. They fear that refusing others will shrink their life. But this fear is a lie your mind tells to keep you small. Every no is a signal to the world that you are learning to measure the worth of your presence. Every no sharpens your focus. Every no aligns your energy with what truly serves you. Every no creates a sacred space where a stronger yes can emerge. The world may pressure you. The world may guilt you. The world may demand your attention, your energy, your compliance. But every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what nourishes you. Yes to your dreams. Yes to your boundaries. Yes to your evolution. Yes to the life you are capable of living. This is the paradox of growth. The strength of your yes is measured by the courage of your no. The depth of your purpose is carved by the limits you are willing to impose. You may encounter resistance. People may not understand. They may label you as harsh, uncooperative, or selfish. But their misunderstanding is not a reflection of your actions. It is a reflection of their inability to face boundaries in their own lives. Each no is a training ground for discipline. Each no is a rehearsal for inner power. Each no prepares you for a life where your energy is no longer dispersed but concentrated. When you practice saying no with intention, you discover an inner freedom that cannot be taken away. You discover that you are not defined by the expectations of others. You discover that your identity is not negotiable. You discover that your life does not belong to anyone but you. This freedom opens doors you never imagined. Doors to creativity, clarity, and presence. Doors that invite opportunities that are aligned with your purpose. Doors that lead to relationships, work, and experiences that honor your energy. And as you learn to embrace the power of no, a new awareness arises. The strength of your inner voice becomes louder than the noise of the outside world. Every no is a practice. Every no is a seed. Every no eventually blossoms into the life you were meant to inhabit. And with this awakening, you step naturally into the next truth. Because if the strength of your yes is born from your no, then you must also lead your life with the courage to take full control of it. 8. If you cannot lead your own life, the world will lead it for you. There is a quiet danger that almost everyone faces in life, the surrender of leadership over their own existence. It is subtle, invisible, and often mistaken for comfort. But the moment you stop directing your path, the world begins to direct it for you. Life will fill the vacuum with endless distractions, other people's opinions, societal pressures, unexamined routines, external obligations. You may believe you are living freely, but living without leadership is surrender. Surrender to chance, surrender to chaos, surrender to forces that do not have your growth, your alignment, or your peace in mind. Leadership begins with awareness. Leadership begins when you claim ownership over your decisions, your actions, your energy. Leadership begins when you accept that no one else can live your life with the same authenticity, the same vision, the same integrity. Without leadership, life becomes reactive. You respond to events instead of creating them. You follow directions instead of setting your own course. You allow circumstances to define your potential instead of your intentions. Leading your own life requires courage. It requires discipline. It requires patience and clarity. It requires the understanding that your time is limited and the quality of your life depends entirely on how you use it. You must wake up every day with a vision for yourself. You must decide not just what you will do, but who you will be. You must act with consistency even when the world does not recognize your effort. You must cultivate habits that reinforce your values even when the noise around you tempts you to deviate. Leadership of the self is not about control over others. It is about sovereignty over your own existence. It is about deciding where your energy flows. It is about deciding what you allow into your life. It is about deciding the pace, the direction, and the standards of your growth. If you do not lead, someone else will. The world does not hesitate. It does not wait for your permission. It will shape your life through circumstances, expectations, and influence. And often, the life shaped by the world is not the life you were meant to live. When you assume leadership over yourself, you develop clarity, you develop resilience, you develop the ability to navigate chaos without losing your center. You develop the courage to act before being pushed. Leadership teaches patience in stillness. It teaches decisiveness in action. It teaches vision in the midst of uncertainty. People will question your choices. People will resist your path. People will attempt to pull you back into their version of reality. This is the test of leadership. Not how many followers you gather, not how many opinions you silence, but how unwaveringly you live by the life you have chosen. When you lead yourself, you influence the world around you, not through force, but through presence. Your energy sets a standard. Your decisions become an example. Your life becomes a statement that cannot be argued with. And as you claim this leadership, you realize a deeper truth, the most important. Anti-influence you have is not on others. It is on the person you are becoming. Leadership over self is the bridge to all other mastery. And as you step across that bridge, a new awareness rises. Because once you lead yourself, you see that your body is the foundation on which all other growth is built. 9. The body is a mirror of the mind, strengthened both with daily practices. The body and the mind are inseparable. One reflects the other. One speaks the language of the other. If your mind is cluttered, your body feels heavy, sluggish, and tense. If your body is weak, your mind hesitates, fears, and doubts. The first law of inner power is this: care for both. The second law is this: care consistently. The body is not merely a vessel, it is an instrument. Every thought, every emotion, every choice is expressed through it. A body untrained becomes a prison. A mind untrained becomes a storm. When the mind is disciplined but the body is weak, energy cannot circulate, clarity cannot sustain, and presence falters. When the body is strong but the mind is chaotic, action becomes impulsive, decisions become erratic, and growth stalls. You must train both with intention. Daily practices are not ritual, they are the blueprint of your evolution. Movement, breath, posture, nutrition, and rest are the scaffolding for higher consciousness. Meditation, reflection, journaling, and learning sharpen the mind, giving the body a container to express strength. Through disciplined practice, the body becomes resilient. It can endure discomfort, stress, and fatigue without surrendering. The mind becomes clear, decisive, and calm, even in chaos. The alignment of body and mind allows energy to flow without leakage, focus to sharpen, and willpower to rise. The body is a mirror of the mind. When the mind is fragmented, the body shows tension. When the mind is weak, the body feels heavy. When the mind is clear, the body moves with grace. When the mind is disciplined, the body radiates power. Daily practices do not need to be long. They must be consistent. They must be deliberate. Even small actions repeated daily build an unstoppable foundation. Every morning, choose movement. Every breath, choose presence. Every moment, choose awareness. Do not mistake pain for weakness. Pain is a signal. Discomfort is a teacher. Challenge is a guide. Through this alignment, the body and mind no longer resist each other. They work together, harmonizing energy, thought, and action. You become grounded in your own presence. You become a force that is felt, not just seen. You become capable of holding your path steady, no matter the storms outside. When the mind and body are trained together, life begins to flow differently. Decisions become precise, energy becomes concentrated, clarity becomes habitual, presence becomes your natural state. And as you strengthen the mirror of your being, a profound understanding arises. If my body reflects my mind, and my mind reflects my choices, then every daily practice is a declaration of who I am becoming. And that realization opens the next threshold of growth, waiting to be discovered. 10. Your past does not need healing. It needs understanding. There is a story you have been carrying, a story that whispers in the quiet moments of your life, a story of pain, of mistakes, of missed opportunities, of relationships that broke, of dreams that faltered. It is easy to call this story a wound, to call it a burden, to believe it needs healing. But what if the truth is not in healing, but in understanding? The past is a teacher, not a jailer. It does not require you to fix it. It requires you to see it clearly, to feel it honestly, to recognize the lessons it has imprinted on your mind, your heart, your spirit. Every moment you labeled yourself as broken, every moment you told yourself it was unfair, every moment you wished it could be different, you resisted the wisdom that was already waiting for you. Understanding your past is not about justification. It is not about blame. It is not about excuses. It is about clarity. It is about tracing the patterns that led to the present. It is about seeing the choices, the circumstances, the fears, the impulses that shape your journey. When you understand the past, it loses its power to dictate your future. The mistakes that once haunted you become lessons. The regrets that once weighed you down become insights. The losses that once emptied you become maps pointing to the life you are capable of creating. Many live trapped in the idea of healing because healing suggests incompleteness. But completeness is found not in erasing the past, not in hiding from it, not in wishing it away, but in understanding it fully. Understanding creates freedom. Understanding creates peace. Understanding creates the courage to step forward without the shadows pulling at your feet. Your past is not a prison. It is a mirror. It reflects where you have been, but it does not dictate where you are going. You can look at the past without judgment. You can see every choice and action for what it truly was. A momentary attempt to navigate the unknown with the knowledge and awareness you had at the time. Every hardship, every struggle, every disappointment, all of it was a teacher. Every lesson, no matter how painful, is a building block of your strength. Every moment you believed you failed is a reminder of your capacity to rise. And when you fully understand this, a quiet power awakens. You begin to act not out of fear of repeating the past, but out of clarity of what truly matters. And as understanding grows, you sense a subtle shift. You begin to see that the present is not weighed down by what happened. It is lifted by the lessons you carry. Because once you understand your past, you realize that movement without clarity is wasted, and the next step is to move with precision and purpose. 11. Move through 2026 with clarity, not speed. The world is obsessed with speed. It celebrates the fast, the immediate, the visible. It praises productivity over presence. It rewards urgency over understanding. It convinces you that to move quickly is to succeed. But speed without clarity is chaos. Momentum without direction is wasted energy. Action without awareness is a shadow of growth. 2026 is not about how fast you move. it is about how clear you are. Clarity is the quiet compass that guides action. It does not shout, it does not demand. It whispers with the certainty of inner alignment. It shows the path that moves you closer to your purpose, step by step, without distraction. When you prioritize clarity over speed, every action carries weight. Every decision has resonance. Every choice is intentional. The world will try to push you into frantic motion. It will tempt you with urgency disguised as opportunity. It will insist that to delay is to fail. But the truth is, hesitation is not weakness if it comes from discernment. Pause is not failure if it comes from awareness. Stillness is not stagnation if it comes from presence. When you move with clarity, your energy is preserved, your focus is undiluted, your intentions manifest with precision. There is a profound difference between moving quickly and moving with alignment. The former scatters your life, the latter magnifies it. Speed is often a distraction from discomfort. Clarity is a confrontation with reality. Speed is noise, clarity is wisdom. In 2026, let every movement be deliberate. Let every decision be rooted in understanding. Let every step be a reflection of your values. Clarity allows you to see what truly requires your attention. It allows you to avoid the traps of urgency and distraction. It allows you to conserve your energy for what matters most. When you move with clarity, life responds differently. Opportunities appear in alignment with your path. People who belong in your journey gravitate toward you. Obstacles that are misaligned with your vision become irrelevant. You begin to experience the rhythm of life, not the rush but the flow, not the chaos but the orchestration, not the pressure but the presence. And as clarity settles in, you understand a subtle truth. Speed may impress the world, but clarity creates results that last. And with this understanding comes the realization. Because once you move with clarity, the next step is to cultivate an inner peace capable of sustaining this journey through every challenge that arises. 12. Inner peace is a skill. Train it like a muscle. Peace is not a destination. Peace is not the absence of conflict, fear, or stress. Peace is not something that is granted to you by circumstance. Peace is a skill, a discipline, a muscle that must be exercised daily. Life will always present chaos. It will offer challenges, frustrations, delays, and disappointments. It will test your patience, your presence, your awareness. It will tempt you to react, to panic, to resist. Without inner peace, every moment becomes a battle. Every decision becomes clouded. Every interaction becomes reactive. But inner peace is not passive, it is active. It is the art of remaining undisturbed amidst disturbance. It is the mastery of the mind and heart, so that your energy remains intact regardless of external storms. To train peace, you must first recognize the triggers that disturb. You must observe the thoughts, emotions, and habits that create turbulence within. You must practice returning to calmness, not through avoidance, but through conscious presence and choice. Meditation, reflection, breathwork, and mindful movement are tools, not the goal. The goal is the ability to maintain equanimity, to respond with awareness rather than react with impulse, to create space between stimulus and action so that every decision comes from clarity, not chaos. Peace is strengthened through daily practice. Small moments of stillness, repeated consistently, become the foundation for resilience. The more you exercise this muscle, the less external noise can dislodge it. The more you cultivate it, the more effortless your presence becomes. Inner peace also requires forgiveness, not for others, but for yourself. For every misstep, every impatience, every lapse of judgment. Forgiveness clears the clutter of guilt and regret, creating room for presence. It is cultivated through acceptance. Acceptance of what cannot be changed. Acceptance of circumstances beyond your control. Acceptance of the natural ebb and flow of life. Inner peace is a skill that compounds. The more you practice, the more it becomes your default state. The less it becomes indent on the world outside, and the more it becomes rooted in the unshakable truth within. When inner peace is present, clarity follows naturally. Discipline becomes easier. Energy is preserved. Decisions are aligned. Boundaries are respected. And as you strengthen this skill, you realize a quiet, profound power. Peace is not something I find. It is something I build, moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. And with this power comes the next horizon. Because once peace becomes a muscle, every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen it, every decision a chance to honor it, and every moment a step toward mastery. 13. Success is not an accident. It is a daily cultivation of priorities. There is a common illusion in the world that success comes suddenly, that it appears as a gift, or that it arrives without intention. Many look around and see people who seem to have it all, and they whisper luck, timing, circumstance, but these are only partial truths. The visible outcome is the last layer of a foundation few can perceive. Success is not an accident. It is not the result of chance, coincidence, or mere desire. Success is the deliberate cultivation of what matters, day after day, moment by moment. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stagnant is simple, yet profound. It is the daily choices they make, the priorities they honor, and the boundaries they enforce. Each day is an opportunity to plant seeds. Some seeds are small. One act of discipline, one conversation that strengthens connection, one moment of learning. Some seeds are subtle, choosing rest over distraction, focus over chaos, reflection over reaction. Some seeds are invisible to the world, but the soul knows. These seeds grow quietly beneath the surface. Roots take hold, energy converges, momentum accumulates, and one day the visible outcome appears. NPO. Call it luck or talent, but it is the result of unseen cultivation. Daily cultivation requires attention. It requires awareness of what matters and what does not. It requires courage to resist what is tempting, but unaligned. It requires the patience to endure small actions whose impact is not immediately apparent. The world celebrates the dramatic achievement, the grand success, the public recognition. But the real work happens in solitude, in ritual, in the conscious repetition of what builds you rather than what distracts you. Each priority you choose to honor, whether it is your health, your discipline, your learning, or your relationships, is a declaration of intention. Each day you align your actions with your highest values, success becomes inevitable. Not through force, not through hurry, not through obsession, but through fidelity to what is essential. Priorities are not rigid. They are living, breathing structures that grow as you grow. Some priorities fade when they no longer serve your path. Some priorities expand as your vision deepens. But without daily cultivation, even the best intentions dissolve. This is why success is not an accident. It is the reward of persistent alignment. It is the result of attention applied consistently, even when circumstances are uncomfortable or uninspiring. It is the manifestation of energy focused rather than scattered, of presence practiced rather than assumed, of integrity honored rather than ignored. Daily cultivation also demands discernment. Not everything that claims urgency is truly important. Not every opportunity that glimmers is aligned with your path. Not every request for your energy deserves a yes. You must measure each action against the horizon you are walking toward. You must evaluate whether it nourishes your mind, body, and spirit. You must decide whether it brings you closer to the life you are consciously creating. When you make this assessment consistently, you discover a subtle but powerful truth. Success is less about grand leaps than about deliberate alignment. It is less about external validation than internal coherence. It is less about outcomes and more about the cultivation of the person capable of sustaining those outcomes. The daily cultivation of priorities shapes character. It strengthens discipline. It sharpens clarity. It deepens wisdom. And through this alignment, the fruits of success arise naturally, not as a reward, but as a reflection of the inner order you have built. And as you see the patterns of your priorities shaping your reality, a quiet question arises. If success is a reflection of cultivated priorities, what am I choosing to nurture every day? And with this awareness, the mind naturally turns toward something even deeper, even more essential. Because if success is born from cultivation, then the next step is to release the roles and masks that no longer serve your true path. 14. Let go of roles others assigned you. They were never your identity. For most of life, we walk in roles that were never ours to begin with. Roles defined by family, society, peers, culture, and circumstance. Roles assigned by expectation, tradition, or fear. We carry them, perform them, and believe they define who we are. But these roles are not identity. They are scripts handed to us before we had the clarity to choose. They are weights disguised as guidance. They are patterns of living that may no longer resonate with the person we are becoming. Letting go is not a rejection of love, loyalty, or respect. It is a reclaiming of self. It is a refusal to be limited by someone else's definition of your value. It is the awakening to the realization that your life is yours to define, and yours alone. From childhood, you are assigned labels: good, bad, smart, weak, responsible, rebellious. From school, work, and society, more layers are added: dutiful, compliant, successful, average, helpful, leader. Some of these may have served you temporarily. Some may have given safety. Some may have offered identity when your own was unclear. But as you evolve, many of these roles become chains. Chains that constrain your energy. Chains that cloud your vision. Chains that prevent the emergence of your authentic self. Releasing them is not simple. It requires courage. It requires reflection. It requires honesty. And it requires patience with yourself as you navigate what is truly yours versus what was imposed. The first step is awareness. Notice the scripts you repeat without choice. Notice the expectations that guide your actions unconsciously. Notice the guilt that arises when you deviate from them. The second step is discernment. Decide which scripts support your growth and which scripts limit it, which expectations honor your energy and which ones deplete it, which roles align with your truth and which roles are inherited illusions. The third step is release. Release without apology, release without shame, release without self-judgment. Letting go of assigned roles creates a space where authentic identity can emerge. It is in this space that clarity, presence, and purpose grow. It is in this space that your energy aligns with what truly matters. It is in this space that you stop performing for the world and begin living for yourself. When you release these roles, life feels lighter, even if initially uncomfortable. The pressure to conform fades, the internal conflict softens. The energy once trapped in performance is redirected toward creation, alignment, and growth. You may face resistance. People who loved the version of you they knew may struggle to recognize the new self. Voices from the past may whisper doubts. Old habits may tempt you to return. This is the test of authenticity, the willingness to continue forward even when the world expects the old version of you. By letting go of assigned roles, you step into sovereignty. You begin to lead your life from alignment, not obligation. You cultivate presence instead of performance. You honor energy instead of expectation. And when this freedom takes root, a new horizon appears. You realize that every action you take, every boundary you set, every choice you make is now filtered through the lens of your own truth. A subtle but profound awareness rises. If I release what was never mine to carry, I gain the power to carry only what truly belongs to my path. And with this awakening, another force emerges, quietly urging you forward. Because once you release the roles assigned to you, you must next learn to honor the boundaries that protect your emerging self, shaping a life that reflects your highest standards. 15. Your boundaries are a form of self-respect. There is a quiet power in the word enough. Enough time, enough energy, enough attention, enough compromise, enough sacrifice. Many spend their lives stretching themselves thin, bending into forms that please everyone else, trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for them. They say yes when they want to say no. They give until they are depleted, hoping to earn approval, love, or recognition. And in this giving, they lose themselves. Boundaries are the declaration that enough is recognized. Boundaries are the manifestation of self-respect. Boundaries are the quiet insistence that your life, your energy, and your presence have value. When you set a boundary, you are not rejecting others. You are affirming your own worth. You are teaching the world how to engage with your energy. You are clarifying what you will and will not tolerate, not as punishment, but as protection. People fear boundaries. They fear conflict, rejection, or isolation. They feared that by saying no, they would be seen as unkind, uncooperative. But the opposite is true. Without boundaries, you are unkind to yourself. Without boundaries, you are never fully present. Without boundaries, your energy leaks into spaces where it does not belong. Boundaries create clarity. They illuminate your priorities. They simplify your life. They sharpen focus. They conserve energy. Every boundary is an act of courage. It requires you to confront discomfort. It requires honesty with yourself and others. It requires the wisdom to recognize that self-respect is not optional. It is essential. Boundaries are also a reflection of integrity. They are visible in how you manage your time, your energy, and your relationships. They are expressed in the agreements you keep with yourself, in the commitments you honor, and in the spaces you protect. People often misinterpret boundaries as rigidity. They confuse them with inflexibility. They mistake them for arrogance or distance. But true boundaries are flexible enough to allow growth, yet firm enough to maintain alignment with your values. When you honor boundaries, you create harmony. You create a space where your relationships are healthier because they are built on clarity and mutual respect. You create a space where your work is more productive because it is guided by focus rather than distraction. You create a space where your mind, body, and spirit are nourished rather than drained. Setting boundaries is not a one-time act. It is a daily practice. It is a commitment to self-awareness, reflection, and courage. It is an ongoing cultivation of respect for yourself and for the life you are building. Boundaries are the scaffolding of inner strength. They are the silent signals to the world that you value yourself. They are the invitation to engage with you consciously, meaningfully, and authentically. Every no you speak, every limit you define, every line you draw is a step toward sovereignty. It is a step toward living intentionally rather than reactively. It is a step toward becoming the person capable of walking with clarity, energy, and peace. And when your boundaries are clear, a subtle but powerful truth emerges. You begin to sense that self-respect is not just about defense. It is the foundation for expansion, growth, and authentic connection. Because once you honor your boundaries, a force awakens inside you. A force that draws only what aligns with your energy, your values, and your highest path, leading naturally to your next awakening. 16. The moment you choose yourself, the world begins to respond differently. There is a subtle alchemy in the act of choosing yourself. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It begins quietly in the decision to honor your needs, your energy, your presence, and your life. Choosing yourself is the first act of true sovereignty. It is the acknowledgement that your life is yours to direct, that your energy is yours to protect, that your choices are yours to define. When you choose yourself, you are no longer living to meet the expectations of others. You are no longer bending into roles that were never yours. You are no longer negotiating with limitations, tolerating what drains you, or sacrificing your presence for approval. This choice is revolutionary. It shifts the energy around you. It changes the way people perceive you, not because you demand it, but because you emanate it. The world responds to energy, not words, not intentions, not appearances. When you choose yourself, your energy aligns with your truth. It radiates clarity, strength, and presence. People notice, not necessarily consciously, but through resonance. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Relationships shift, not through manipulation, but through authenticity. Opportunities arise that may see the level of energy you now inhabit. Choosing yourself is not selfishness. It is the ultimate act of alignment. It is the cultivation of the inner foundation from which generosity, influence, and impact can flow without depletion. The first step is awareness. Notice when you give yourself last. Notice when your energy is scattered. Notice when your presence is diluted by the needs of others. The second step is courage. Have the courage to pause. Have the courage to say no. Have the courage to claim your space, your time, your energy. The third step is consistency. Make this choice every day, with every interaction, every decision, every thought. Choose yourself before reacting to the world. Choose alignment over compromise. Choose presence over distraction. Choose sovereignty over surrender. When this practice is established, life begins to respond differently. The people around you begin to reflect your clarity. The energy you emit attracts resonance. The world no longer pulls you into reactive patterns. It begins to meet you where you stand, strong, centered, aligned. The beauty of choosing yourself is that it does not require confrontation, explanation, or justification. It requires only consistency, presence, and courage. The impact is automatic. The alignment of your energy creates natural boundaries, naturally attracting support, respect, and opportunities. This is the quiet power of sovereignty. When you choose yourself, you set a standard, not for others to follow blindly, but for your life to follow intentionally, not for validation, but for coherence, not for applause, but for authenticity. And as you live in this alignment, a new awareness emerges. The choices you make now are not just shaping your day. They are shaping the trajectory of your entire life. Every yes aligned with your truth, every no. Protecting your energy, every act. Honoring yourself is a declaration to the universe. I am present. I am whole. I am responsible for the life I am creating. And with this declaration, the next horizon appears, because once you choose yourself, you step into a field where your energy, intentions, and purpose converge, revealing the next stage of growth and influence waiting to be embraced. 17. Gratitude transforms energy. Notice and honor what already exists. Gratitude is a subtle force. It is not noise. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. Yet its influence is profound, shaping perception, shaping action, shaping life itself. Most people overlook gratitude. They focus on what is missing. They lament what has not arrived. They chase external validation, success, or possessions, believing fulfillment is somewhere outside. But fulfillment is first an internal alignment. It is an awareness of what already exists. It is a recognition of the resources, experiences, lessons, and people already present in your life. Gratitude transforms energy because it shifts the lens through which life is experienced. When you notice what is present, attention stops chasing absence. When you honor what already exists, you stop resisting reality. When you recognize abundance, scarcity dissolves, not as a denial of desire, but as a realignment of perception. Daily gratitude is not a casual acknowledgement. It is an active practice. It is a deliberate recognition of both the visible and the subtle gifts. The air you breathe, the clarity of your mind, the warmth of connection, the discipline you have cultivated, the lessons you have survived, all of it contributes to your current state. When gratitude becomes a lens, it shapes decisions, actions, and intentions. Energy flows differently, focus sharpens, resilience deepens, presence becomes effortless. Gratitude also transforms RMS relationships. When you honor the contributions, presence, and energy of others, connections deepen naturally. Mutual respect rises. Communication becomes intentional. Collaboration becomes authentic. The world is often chaotic, demanding, and distracting. Without gratitude, life feels heavy. Without gratitude, progress feels hollow. Without gratitude, joy is fleeting. But with gratitude, life aligns with meaning. Every action becomes a response rather than a reaction. Every moment becomes a reflection rather than a projection. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for recognition, insight, and growth. The practice of gratitude also cultivates humility. It reminds you that your life is a tapestry of interconnected forces, each contributing to the reality you inhabit. It teaches you to respect the unseen, the subtle, the everyday, and the ordinary. When energy is transformed by gratitude, you begin to notice synchronicity. You notice opportunities that were invisible before. You sense guidance in subtle patterns. You perceive connections between actions, choices, and consequences with clarity. Gratitude is not a passive state. It is active. It is deliberate. It is a lens through which life gains coherence, flow, and meaning. And as you deepen in gratitude, you awaken a new awareness. The energy you carry is no longer reactive or depleted. It is intentional, powerful, and expansive. And with this energy, you are naturally propelled toward the final truth of the journey. Because once energy is transformed by gratitude, it aligns you fully with your purpose, ready to manifest the highest vision of yourself in action, presence, and influence. 18. In 2026, put yourself first. Your life depends on it. This is the culmination, the essence, the call that echoes beneath all lessons, insights, and practices. Putting yourself first is not selfishness. It is not arrogance. It is not indulgence. It is recognition. Recognition that your energy, clarity, presence, and alignment are the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. When you put yourself first, boundaries are respected, priorities are aligned, and decisions reflect your truth. When you put yourself first, the mind, body, and spirit are nourished, allowing action to flow effortlessly. When you put yourself first, relationships, work, and opportunities shift into resonance with the highest version of you. The world often teaches the opposite. It tells you to serve first, compromise first, sacrifice first, to defer, to please, to tolerate. It masks this pattern as morality, kindness, or responsibility. But when the self is neglected, energy is depleted, presence is diminished, action becomes inconsistent, life drifts reactively rather than directed by intention. To put yourself first is to accept responsibility for your own life. It is to recognize that no one else will steward your energy, clarity, or growth with the consistency you can. It is to understand that your choices shape your reality, your experience, and your influence. Putting yourself first requires courage. It requires awareness. It requires discipline. It requires saying no without guilt. It requires saying yes in alignment. It requires creating a life in which your priorities are honored daily without compromise. This act is revolutionary because it changes the flow of energy around you. It transforms relationships, not by neglecting others, but by elevating the quality of presence you bring to every interaction. It transforms work, not by indulgence, but by focus, clarity, and discipline. It transforms life, not by avoidance, but by authentic engagement with your highest vision. In 2026, putting yourself first is the decision to stop negotiating with fear, doubt, and distraction. It is the choice to stop yielding energy to what does not serve you. It is the commitment to align your daily life with your truth, vision, and purpose. Those who put themselves first are not alone. They attract resonance. They cultivate influence without force. They create opportunities that align with the depth of their energy. They become architects of their own destiny. Putting yourself first is a declaration. I am responsible. I am present. I am intentional. I am sovereign over my life, energy, and choices. When this decision is embodied, life shifts, energy flows, clarity guides, opportunities emerge, growth accelerates, and as this final truth is embraced, a deep realization settles. In 2026, everything begins when I put myself first. Without this, all other practices, lessons, and intentions lose their power. This is not a suggestion. It is not optional. It is the foundation upon which all transformation, alignment, and mastery rests. Because once you put yourself first, every other principle, every other habit, every other insight flows naturally from this truth, creating a life of unstoppable presence, clarity, and impact. As we step into the next chapter, one truth becomes undeniable. Your life is yours to shape, moment by moment, choice by choice. Every thought, every boundary, every act of presence, every disciplined practice, every no you speak, and every yes you honor is a declaration of who you are becoming. The journey of 2026 is not about rushing. It is not about pleasing others. It is not about chasing approval, recognition, or fleeting distractions. It is about alignment, aligning your mind, body, energy, and actions with the truth of your highest potential. It is about living deliberately, cultivating clarity, honoring boundaries, embracing silence, and choosing yourself consistently with courage and presence. Your past is a teacher, not a jailer. Your limitations are invitations, not verdicts. Your environment, your relationships, and your daily habits are mirrors, reflecting the energy you cultivate. Gratitude transforms what is ordinary into extraordinary. Boundaries protect what is sacred. Silence teaches what words cannot convey. And above all, the decision to put yourself first unlocks the force that animates every other principle. This is not a call to comfort. This is a call to presence. This is not a suggestion. It is the foundation of transformation. 2026 will respond not to hope or desire alone, but to intentional, aligned action. Every moment spent in awareness, every choice made with clarity, and every act of courage builds the life that has always been waiting for you to inhabit fully. Step into it, own it, honor it. Let every day become a declaration that your energy, your mind, and your spirit matter. Because when you put yourself first, fully, consciously, and deliberately, the world begins to shift around you, and the life you are meant to live begins to unfold.